Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello, it's Nandi again. I wasn't planning on recording another video so quickly, but I've been getting a lot of messages about the upcoming Maugan Ra event. So I thought I would record something very quickly to address some of those questions and help some people who are trying to put the finishing touches on their roster for this event. So for those of you that are new to Tacticus or new to what this event is, this weekend we have the Maugan Ra event returning for its second iteration. It's a legendary release event, which is currently one of the premium ways to unlock legendary characters in the game. There are two legendary characters pictured on the screen, Maugan Ra and Jane Zar, both of whom have had one run of the LRE. And essentially, it's divided into three sections: alpha, beta, and gamma, each with its own traits and restrictions. You need to make a certain amount of progress in each of those sections in order to get enough points to unlock the character. And I'll touch more on exactly what this means later on. What we know from previous iterations is that this is a difficult event, and it's not intended to be an easy way of unlocking these characters, and is certainly tailored towards endgame players. So what we know from previous iterations of the LREs is that these are the rough gear tiers required to achieve certain level unlocks. I caveat this with the fact that Snowprint can change things at their whim, and the feedback from the first run of the Maugan Ra event was that it was really hard, so I wouldn't be surprised if the difficulty is reduced slightly for this second run. Again, these scores and these gear tiers are going to vary depending on the character's abilities, and we know that characters who have certain abilities and certain actives and passives will outperform their gear tier. So take these sort of baseline readings with a pinch of salt. But I think they are a good rough guide in order to figure out how much to gear your characters up. And this next slide, again, was based on the first run of Maugan Ra, which told us, it just kind of shows you how much you needed to score overall in order to achieve an unlock. We know that if you made progress the first time around, that progress will be saved for the second iteration, so you can build on that in order to achieve the unlock tiers suggested here on this page. So what I've included here is two useful infographics that I had in my original Maugan Ra video. They just present the data in both a visual fashion in terms of just giving you a raw number, as well as a more detailed Excel spreadsheet that allows you to analyze things more closely and figure out where to spend resources. I think both of these are really useful resources if you're approaching the event fresh and you don't know which characters to focus on, and you just want to get characters that are going to give you as high of a score as possible. But what I'm also including in this video is a new sort of infographic / matrix that I've made to hopefully just kind of get you over the edge and fine-tune things a little bit more. So I've made this matrix myself, and what it's done is essentially divided each section, alpha, beta, and gamma, into traits, but also combining those traits again so that I can identify characters who fulfill multiple traits at once in order to very efficiently complete my runs. And the idea here is it just kind of minimizes the amount of tunes that I need to build up, and the amount of characters I need to build up, and really allows me to focus these last couple of days in order to get over the line and do as well as I can do in this event. I will include a link to this Excel matrix in the video description so that you can download it. What you need to do is just download it, make a copy, and then you'll be able to freely edit it and move characters around according to whatever you have available in your own roster and customize things there. So yeah, there'll be a link below, and hopefully that is useful for you. So we'll just break things down here and talk about each section in turn. So for the alpha section, we have made sort of three groups, if you will. The first group is pretty easy to make, actually, because there's only 5 psychers in the game that you can use, and all 5 of those psychers satisfy the maximum 2-hit trait. So build up your 5 psychers, or as many as you have if you have them, and you can just combine those 5 together and they will satisfy 2 traits for you. The other one is the resilient trait. Again, there's a very small pool of characters you can use. We know that the Death Guard are very good and they synergize very well together. But I left out Pestilin for Yarrick because I think Yarrick is just such an amazing character that you want him, or you want to use him whenever you can. And that leaves melee only and the power trait to be combined left, and I've just highlighted 5 characters there that I think will perform reasonably well. Maladus obviously has a lot of carryover in other sections of this Maugan Ra release event, as does Rotbone, and I think that's a reasonable 5. You can obviously tweak this depending on who you have available, but the options for characters that satisfy both of these traits are fairly limited. So moving on then to the beta section, the restriction here is that there are no Imperials allowed, which gives you a pretty small pool of characters to work from. I've divided things here into 3 sections. You can see here on the screen. The biggest of those 3 sections combines the traits No Let the Galaxy Burn, which is the trait assigned to the Black Legion faction, No Mech, and No Summons. The Death Guard are really good, and actually in theory you could use a full team of 5 Death Guard to clear all 3 of these traits, but I think that Eldrion and Calandis are just too good not to include, so I've come up with a bit of a hybrid team here, but again, feel free to adjust things based on your own roster and which characters you have unlocked and available. In an ideal world, I would have combined these next 2 traits together, no power and minimum 4 hits. You can see that there's 4 characters that satisfy all of those traits: Harkin, Aleph Null, Gibba Scraps, and Revas. However, you get to take 5 characters in for these sections, so I've just decided to split things up rather than limit yourself to 4 characters. And you can see there characters highlighted on the screen that I think will perform well in each of these sections, but you've got a lot of flexibility here, and you can pretty much just take your strongest characters in because it's a single trait attempt. So the last section we're looking at is the Gamma section. You should have a pretty wide selection of characters to use here because the only trait restriction is no chaos. So I've just divided things here up into 2 different groups. On the right hand side you can see the max 1 hit and ranged traits, and I've listed there 5 characters who I'd recommend. Sybil we should have already built up from our earlier alpha section because of the Psyker trait. Calandis again we should have already built up from our beta section because of how useful he is. Varro is another one that we should have built up for the Psyker section of this event, so again we're just getting to use characters over and over again and not have to use new ones. And Shozile and Certus round out the 5. I have highlighted 5 characters for the left hand side: Bolter, no Overwatch, and no Summons. But I think it's important to say actually that the most important characters in this section are Isabella, Yarrick, and Bouchard. Isabella, is fantastic in this game mode because you can just tuck her away into a corner and kind of protect her in a sort of bodyguard fashion, so that the enemy has to attack her bodyguard, her meat shields, and then Isabella's passive kicks in and she just gets lots and lots and lots of heals. So you just whittle away these entire waves without too much difficulty. So I wouldn't worry too much about building 5 characters up here, but as long as you have a big Isabella and you've got at least 2 or 3 big meat shields, then you will do very well in Gamma. And a lot of people use that trick to do well the first time around. So there you go. I've tried to make just a short, sweet video for those of you that have requested it, and hopefully this helps you focus things and get over the line and unlock Maugan Ra. If you've watched my other videos, you know how highly I rate this hero, and I think he's going to be phenomenal in guild raids, and certainly somebody you should focus your resources on in terms of both unlocking him and once you have him unlocked in terms of getting him to a high gear tier and leveling his skills up. I'm always happy to hear your thoughts and comments and welcome them. I've also, as I said, included a link in the description for the Excel matrix in order for you to customize this information to your own roster. the channel's really coming on leaps and bounds, and I'm so thankful to all of you that are continuing to come here and watch me and watch my content and talk and discuss about my infographics. It's really, really heartwarming, and thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. I've included here a referral code, so if you're new to the game and you have some time, I'd really appreciate if you could put that into your refer a friends section. It gives me some Blackstone and a bit of an incentive to continue to do this and provide content and information for you all. But honestly, don't worry about it. Just the fact that you're here and watching this and supporting me is a huge boon. So thank you regardless. I hope to see you all soon, and best of luck in the event this weekend. Thanks, bye.
Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi.